For some reason, my video stopped recording. So let's do part 2 here. If I was to do a bend on a note, let's say I want to bend from the 10th fret into the 12th fret. I want to hit the 12th fret. And I have to look at my guitar and say, okay, how many steps is there from the 10th fret? It's a whole step. So that's a whole step. We click B as in bend, and a bend menu pops up. And you could also call it a full step. So that's a half step. Would be from A to A sharp. Full step would be from A to B. Now we have that. If we wanted to linger on the note and add some vibrato, we could do it like this, for instance. And the way I did that was to add another 10. That's one way. There's nothing there. You add another 10 and you click L as in legato, but not as legato. But L as in long. And if you click V as in vibrato, it adds vibrato, and that means the vibrato happens from this note. And if I delete the vibrato, it actually keeps the bend going, if that makes sense, across both notes here. But if I add the vibrato here, it bends up and adds a vibrato from the second note there. Let's go down here. Oh, you can't see that. Let me just move myself out the way for a second. And hear that vibrato at the end. No vibrato at the end. And similarly, there are other menus you could bring up over here. This is the bend. You could use a tremolo bar to lower the pitch or raise the pitch. Lots of things you can consider doing there. I'm not sure what else I have missed here. If you have an acoustic guitar, let's try that for a second. Where's my menu at now? Maybe you have an acoustic guitar here, and maybe you're playing something like and you have a hammer-on there. Let's do something like and you wanted to let it ring, because if you're not letting it ring, you're just playing each note individually. That's maybe not what you want. Maybe you want something like how I'm playing. You can select the things you want to let ring and click I as in ice cream, and now it's let ring. And for instance, maybe you know that that B note there before the hammer-on, it's going to be a struggle to let that ring, so maybe you want to do something about that. But I just let the whole thing ring, and create a dotted note there. And for instance, maybe the next bar is a C instead. So the first bar was. Maybe next up you want to play a C. Instead of having to type it all over again. Like that. Which you could do. And in some cases you might need to do it. But since I was playing the same pattern, just with different notes, I could copy in this A minor here and change the notes that I need to change. So this is what happens. Now we have this. Just something Down here, you probably saw me do it a second ago. You can add different instruments. I'm probably not going to see this when this pops up. I should have said it differently, but you can add drums, you can add bass, you can add keyboard, you can add all the things you want to add. If I was to add some drums, you probably saw this in the other video of mine. I'm used to tabbing this out with the numbers way back from Guitar Pro 5, and you can add, pardon my sick voice by the way, you can add a drum beat, for instance. So let's do that quickly. I like doing the kick and the snare in the second voice, which you can select up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. The reason for this is that the second voice, you can set that to be lower. You can do that with all voices, but so it becomes something that looks like this. And in the first voice, you can select the voices through Control 1, 2, 3, 4 as well. And these numbers, I wouldn't worry too much about them for now. If you're not used to tapping out drums, I'd just think of using, you can also click this up here, which will give you an indication of where the different things are. Now, the notes I would consider at the beginning is just to remember 35 or 36, 38, 57, and 42. This means this is your kick, this is your snare, kick again and snare again. 42 is your hi-hat, and 57 is your crash. I put a 46 in there, that's an open hi-hat. Let's use that in the next bar. Maybe that was a way too fast tempo, so let's change the tempo. You can click up here where it says current tempo. When you hover over it, it doesn't show you that on screen here, but it says current tempo. Click to open tempo automation. In that you can select different tempos. Let's just do 80. And if you wanted to see the whole thing here, you could click Control M, and it would not, like if I'm Control 1, it's graying out the second voice, and if I'm in, same for the other way around, voice 2, voice 1, so on. Control M, multi-voice. Let's copy this. You need to multi-voice it to copy the whole bar into the next one here. Now we have 2 bars. All right. If I was going to do something, what was it? Yeah, let's do a bar of like a slower open hi-hat thing. So in voice 1, let's remove the whole thing. I'm in voice 1 here, Control 1, select the whole thing, click delete. All right. Still going to want my crash on 1, but let's have some open hi-hats and slower ones on 2, 3, and 4. Let's continue the pattern in the second bar. And just change that 57 to another open hi-hat. So this would sound like this. All right, I think that's some ideas as to what you can do. Of course, these ones up here determine the time signature. And the other one here is the clef, whether that's a treble clef or a bass clef. Have the key signature, which you can select all the different keys. Time signature. You could, with this, you can select triplet feel. And I wouldn't worry too much about these bars because these are used in free time, or like if you have a double bar, but you know, you can do that at times if you want. Not sure what else I haven't gone over. There are some toplet things. We can quickly go over that. If, for instance, you wanted to create something in triplets, probably a good thing. Let's just do it's a straight line here of B notes on the second fret of the A string. It's all palm muted. Let's open up the first one actually, like that. All right, so maybe you wanted that to be triplets instead. You can either click up here by mouse. 3. Most of these, once you hover over them, will show the shortcut or hotkey for the same thing, same button. So I know, again, through years of experience, that triplet is the same as the diagonal line on the numpad. I forget what it's called, but so if I click that, you see it adds a 3 above the note in the sheet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now the thing is, triplets are faster than eighth notes, so now we need to add some more notes to complete the bar. And maybe you want it to not palm mute the strong beats. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. So something like. And yeah, those are triplets. Those are valuable too. There are other toplets as well that you can choose if you wanted something crazy like 4 notes. Let's do 7 notes in the time of 3. You could start doing experimenting with that as well, of course, and it's gonna be the crazy weird thing. Yeah, this is not a complete. This is going over the bar length as well. And you could even, I think you can even do nested toplets now if I wanted those 3 notes to be like, this is going to be weird. You know, you can do something like that. This is not something you want to do, but it's just showcasing the capabilities of the software. Let's see if I can complete this bar somehow. Jesus Christ. So this doesn't make sense, I know, because it's just silly, and it's not something you want to need to do. But you can do all kind of weird things, obviously. I'm not sure if I have covered everything here. There are fermatas, there are some crescendos and decrescendos. You know, you have all these things. If you are tabbing out or writing out sheet music for piano, you can use something to indicate a sustain pedal. Yeah, you can even use these signs here to indicate left hand fingering and right hand fingering. Anyway, 12 minutes of a quick tutorial. You can actually also do a timer here that's adding, we're 27 seconds into the song, if that was what you wanted to do. One last thing, actually. If you wanted to indicate a chord, maybe you had something like this, an A major chord, you can click A and it will bring up a chord menu. Let's hope this doesn't go wonky. There we go. And it will automatically tell you that this is an A major chord. So click A, it says A major. Maybe you're in this menu and you said, hey, I was actually not playing an A major chord. I was, a second. Maybe you're like, hey, I meant for that to be an A major 7. You can actually check it out here and say, oh, that's an A major 7. I'm not sure if it actually changes it in the chord here. It does not. So it's still, there's still, at the tab still shows an A major triad, obviously. But now it says A major 7, so that's not ideal. Let's reset it. And delete it, actually. That's what I wanted to do. If we had like an A major, I'm getting multiple screens going on here. A major 7. Click that, and again, it will show an A major 7 in here. So, and maybe if you wanted it to say something else, maybe you wanted it to not say A major 7. And that way you could write it out in the menu here and say A major 7 is going to show up like that. Quick guide to this, sort of quick, 15 minutes long. Let me know if you have any questions. You can you can select sounds over here too, and you can find some custom sounds. For instance, let's we had the acoustic steel. You can't see this because it's not showing up right now on my recording device here, but let's do an acoustic guitar and say steel guitar, and on the signatures you can see a long list of some of them. Some of them will be recognizable, like November, which is probably November Rain, Green Sleeves, Crossroad, California might be Hotel California, Theater could be Dream Theater. Anyway, let's select November Rain. Oh, November it just says. So if I play this now, you can gonna solo this. That might sound slightly different to this. Actually, it did not. I'm not sure why that is. That's interesting. Green sleeves, is that going to change anything? Yeah. I think the one it was set at was just too close to the original. If I chose something like Overnight, let's see what that is. Different as well. Anyway, we got to end it here. My nose is getting stuffy. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions.